Hi ladies and gents, Pond here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. Today it's part 3 of my guide to gold, and in my previous parts we looked at kind of the beginner's elements, just purely what processes you can do every day to generate gold in your account. In part 2 I looked at kind of more peripheral elements such as the heroes, the research, what packages you can purchase, all those kind of things. And then today in part 3 we are going to be looking at class and the impact that that has on your gold production. So we're going to be popping into 4 different accounts that I have, which are in each of the different 4 classes. So right now we're in Road to C25, and this is currently a farmer. So if you go to class hall class, you can see that you've got the 4 different elements: farmer, raider, trader, craftsman. So let's start off with farmer. Well, farmers just have the base level of gold production from their mints. You don't get a buff or a debuff. It's just kind of the 0% base. In terms of the other kind of additions or elements that involve gold, well, if we go into the class manual, there are 4 elements in the class manual quite far down that are going to have an impact on your gold production. The first is agricultural modification here. Now you can see in Road to C25 I'm already at level 70, so I'm going to need another 5 there, 6. Ooh, it's probably around level 80 that you're going to get access to this. Maybe, yeah, around level 80, let's say. Now this is going to give you all gold produced to food ratio +3. So I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure on what that description means. It's obviously relating to your food production, so and it's increasing the amount of gold that's going to be produced. So I have never unlocked it and activated it in any of my accounts in the card use page. So I don't know specifically the impact it will have in terms of the percentage increase, but I just know that that is a card that you could put in your income position, and it is going to have an impact. There are 3 other income cards as well on the farmer class manual, which are related to gold. It's Refine 1 here, which is relating the gold production to lumber ratio, and then you've got waste material processing, which relates the gold produced to marble, and production line modification, which relates the gold produced to iron ratio. So all three of those as well are going to have an impact on gold. Other than that, there's not a lot really to talk about in terms of gold production in a farmer. You're not getting a buff, you're not getting a debuff, you're not able to raid other accounts for gold as a farmer. Only raiders can do that, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So that's really everything I wanted to talk about. There's no other, as far as I'm aware, there's no other additional elements that relate to gold production specifically in farmer class. So we're going to move on to the next class that I want to talk about, which is the craftsman class for those architects. So we're just going to pop over into Pond Farm 5, which is my architect account, and we'll carry on from there. So here we are, guys. We're over in Pond Farm 5 now, which is my architect account. So just to confirm in the class, it's craftsman and then architect. Again, similar to farmer, you don't get, your mints are producing gold at that base production level. There's no buff or debuff in this class. In the class manual, there's just the one element in it that relates to gold that I can see, and I have gone through all of them today, so I hope I didn't miss anything, but it's this construction blueprint 1. So again, it is one of these income position cards that you can pop up in your manual to be used, and this can give between I think it's, let's have a check. Yeah, it's this can give between 1% up to a maximum of 15% construction gold reduction. So similar to the abilities that the Craftsman and Michelangelo Castle Builder had, that would reduce the cost of the gold for building upgrades, and that is a massive cost to you through the game, the cost of gold for you upgrading your buildings. If you can get this activated and in your card use and maxed 10 out of 10, you're going to save 15%, which again is just huge. Even just upgrading here, if you were upgrading your, well, you don't have a class building actually as an architect, but just upgrading those top level buildings that are costing you a lot, or just the castle level upgrade, it's going to save you a lot of gold, guys. So that's the best kind of thing to do if you are an architect, is you want to activate that card, maximize it at 10, and that's going to save you 15%. Other than that, Craftsman, not a lot to talk about. Again, you can't raid for gold. You're not getting any buffs. It is what it is. It's that base level production. I do have 325 million gold in this account. Pond Farm is C23 farm account, and yeah, it's what's that, 30 million in the. It's got 350 million gold in it. This is an old account. I mean, it's over a year old, this farm, so I need to kind of put things into perspective. And I do have other farms that I share the raiding across, so for taking things out of them. But as you can see, even as an architect, you can generate a reasonable amount of gold for a farm anyway. I'm not sure I would advise. It's certainly not the best way to go in terms of being an architect or a craftsman for the long term in your main account. So that is the second of the 4 classes, and now we are going to move on to look at a trader, and we're going to look at Maverick Pond, which is one of my C25 main accounts. So we'll be over in Maverick in just a second. Alright, so we are here in Maverick Pond, one of my trader C25s. So let's have a look first at the implications of being a trader has on your gold production, and this has a couple of big points to it. So you can see here the free market element. Gold production is plus 50%. So your mints are going to produce a lot more gold as a trader. Your base level is higher. The other small consideration is the market economy function. So trading house purchase cost is minus 5%. So that means that if you, we've got a trading balloon. So when you're going to trade, your base resource cost to exchange for the gold is going to be cheaper than the other 3 classes. So those are a couple of things. The other thing is in terms of just seeing that gold production in effect. So this, I've got about 8 around level 20 mints in Maverick. So they're not maxed, but at that level I'm producing my tavern is full. So at 100% capacity, 8 level 20 mints, I'm making 133,000 gold an hour. So that's just something to consider. And again, this account is actually over 18 months old. I've got 600 million in my stock, so it's a nice amount. That's all self-made gold. I don't raid other farms with this account to generate additional gold for it. That is all self-produced gold. So let's have a look as well in the class manual. There's a couple of elements in this. So very early on, this is the good thing about being a trader as well. Very early on, you get 2 elements that are going to help you, which relate to gold. First one is on the left here, Artisan Craftsmanship 1. Maximum gold production plus 5,000. So increases your base production by 5,000. So what's that? That's 120,000 extra gold a day from that skill. And then plunder protection. So this is if you're being attacked. It's going to protect 1 million of your gold. So, if you're at earlier stages in the game as a trader, this is actually going to help you quite a lot, because I don't think you have to be mini level 1. That's 6, 7.5, 8.5. Yeah, I mean, you're accessing these almost immediately, because those first 15, 20 levels of the class manual are really easy. So you can be accessing these almost immediately, giving yourself protection for a large amount of your gold. You might have seen when I was in my Road to C25 account, I think I had 1.4 million gold in my stock at that time. So if that was a trader, then nearly all of that gold would have been protected by this plunder protection skill. And you're giving yourself a nice boost to your gold production even at those early stages in the game. So those are kind of like the benefits for being a trader, is you just get this massive buff on your gold production. So in terms of relating to it as gold, I would say that out of the 4 classes, trader is the second best for gold. And actually, for me, if you look at your progression through the game, I think what I did was in my main at C19 to C22, I did swap to trader because you just guaranteed that gold, and you need it for a lot of the building upgrades that you have to do, which are quite gold intensive. So I do like trader. In terms of all my accounts, I've kept Maverick as a trader, and then 6 of my farms are traders. And that would be my other point in regards to this, is that if probably the 2 hardest materials in the game to obtain or produce are gold and iron. I think most people would agree with me there. So for the gold, you can gather iron if you have multiple farms, but the gold, you can't gather gold, can you? So for me, having your farms, or the majority of your farms, set as traders, and you've got that guaranteed base production of gold, even if you don't go into your farm for a week, it will still be just producing gold itself anyway. So that would be my advice in regards to farms. So that is 3 of the 4 classes covered. Now we're going to switch over into my main LordOfPondtail account, which is a raider, and we're going to look at the pros and cons of being a raider in relation to gold. We made it, guys. We're on to the 4th class, which is of course raider, and we are in my main account, LordOfPondtail account. So first things first, let's quickly look in the class hall at the class details and raider. Now the first thing to look at is the economical depression element of it. So it's reducing your base gold production by 30%. So that is the negatives of being a raider. I think if you compare, so if we look at my gold production here, I have all of my mints at level 25 in my main, and you can see that I'm producing 91,000. So I think, and obviously I think you're looking at probably around 1 million gold less produced between a trader and a raider. I haven't done the exact calculations, I'll be honest, but it's probably slightly more than 1 million actually, isn't it? But I would suspect that it's around 1.25 million to 1.5 million max difference that you're losing out on. So, it is quite a lot, but also that's just purely looking at the production point of things. So the other thing is, the other main thing to talk about now is back into the class hall actually is this key element, Raiders Hall. So Raiders Hall, being a raider, allows your class legion to plunder gold when sieging, and this is a key point. You can obviously siege other players in state if you don't have NAP, or just players that are outside of the NAP. One tactic that I did was that at the weekends when you have KE, I would go to the other state. So today we're against state 58. So we're just going to go over to 58, and obviously you want to get your 9 chests first. That's the most important thing. Get your 9 chests, and then whatever stamina you have left. What my tactic used to be, and it's not a great tactic, but well, it is a good tactic in terms of gaining gold. It's just not a good tactic in terms of attacking, in terms of, I don't know, is it etiquette? I mean, this is a war game, we're supposed to attack. What I would do is I would search the map. Almost perfect. Oh, he's shielded. I would search the map. Let's see if we can get lucky. And I would try, and I didn't do any scouting before this video, but basically what I would do is I would be looking for a castle that was either just a low level, like say around 15 to 18, and preferably not part of one of the main alliances, not have a lot of power, but potentially could actually have a fair amount of gold in it. And you can easily actually raid, say if you're raiding with your class and you've got a T9 class cavalry legion, they're going to raid about 750k. Really not getting lucky with an account here. Never mind. Let's just try and find even if it's shielded. Yeah, here we go. So if you found any of these guys, like a 16, a 7, 15, 16, 17, find one of these, but on the outskirts of the map. So on these outer two sections, all right? And they haven't been hit, because most people are not going to go after these smaller accounts. And there was a time where basically on a Saturday and a Sunday, I would do KE every week. This is when I really needed gold. And once I got my 9 chests by either exchange or hitting big targets, I would then search the map for these smaller targets, C15 to C18 or even C19, and I would then scout them to see if they've got gold, and then I would attack them with my class. And if you've got obviously a full if you've got a class legion with 100 stamina, that's 20 hits, 750k per hit, that's 15 million from one full amount of stamina. And if you can potentially do that twice in a day, then it's 30 million. Obviously, you're not going to do it twice because you would have needed that stamina for other amounts. But basically, I was getting probably around 30 million a weekend from that strategy, okay? Because if you're hitting a small account, you're not appearing on the news. If it's an account that isn't part of an alliance, no one else is going to notice that it's being hit, and you can merrily go around the map and do that sneakily and pick up some gold. Now, you might not get loads of other resources, but most of those accounts usually would have 3 or 4 million gold in them, and because no one else has been hitting them for a couple of weeks, and it's just an easy way to pick it up. So that is kind of my structure on that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is your farms. So everyone knows I've got you can check out my guide to farms playlist. I've shown how to raid farms in the past. As I said, my farms are traders, and the most efficient way to obtain gold in the game is by having your farms as traders, and you do enough troops to fill your class legion with T1, because T1 has the largest load capacity of all the troops, strangely, and then you just fill up your class with T1 troops, and make sure if you've got your gold cav gear, that will also help with the load. Which one helps with load? There we go. Golden plate helps with load. And then you can see here, I'm obtaining 1.2 million gold, just over that. 1.2 million every hit on my farm. If you have, so I do this Monday to Friday. If I've got full stamina in my class, which I try and save the stamina in my class for these elements, just for the hitting on the farms, then you get 20 hits at a time. That's basically nearly 25 million gold from a full stamina. And that is, you do that twice a day, you can get 50 million gold. So I've currently got 62 million base gold in my account, and I've actually got 2.1G in stock. Now I'm not flexing here, I'm just purely showing what is possible. I'm in state 55, mine's a very old account. I've got developed farms, I've invested a lot of time in doing my farms. All my farms have hundreds of millions of gold in them. I can't basically raid them enough. But whenever I do have a big building to upgrade, and I've nearly finished my building. So, for instance, this week I'm upgrading. I'm really literally running out of buildings now. So I'm upgrading my market this week, level 24. It cost me 44 million gold. So rather than take it from my stock, because I wouldn't have had enough, I don't think, I went to my farms, I raided them for like 24 hours. That gave me all the gold I needed up front in my front stock to spend on that building upgrade. Same with research. If I know I'm doing a big research day, I've got some researches that cost a few million gold, then I will raid my farms up front. Generally, I'll be raiding farms on Monday night and then Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, because obviously building and research are generally the kind of things that take up the most gold, along with making enhanced troops. And that is my strategy for it. And that way, you can just generate a ton of gold. The other thing is, for those of you that are obviously in Reign of Chaos seasons 1 to 3, in your weeks off in between those seasons, because you really need your stamina for tile taking and battles during that time in season, just build up your gold in your account in between. So if you need to raid other accounts in your state, or if you're raiding your farms, build up a buffer of gold before you start your Reign of Chaos season. So that's what I did when my farms were really developed between seasons 3 and 4. I raided my farms and had about 300-400 million gold in my main just sitting there, so that would cover me for all the kind of upgrades I had to do in the coming weeks. And yeah, that is basically my strategy and personally my views on the best way to generate gold in your accounts. So thank you so much for watching these guides. I hope you've enjoyed them. I think I've covered as much about gold as I possibly could. I hope I have. And of course, I'd be interested to hear your comments in the comments section below. Maybe I have missed something off that needs to be covered, so please do highlight that for everyone to see. If you have liked them, then why not click on that like? And if this is one of the first videos you're watching on my channel, why not subscribe and ring that bell so you can get notifications whenever I'm dropping videos on the channel, which is daily. And if you could please share my channel in your Alliance chat, Province chat, and through Line, WhatsApp, Viber, Discord, whatever you use to communicate with your fellow players in the game, that would be absolutely brilliant, guys. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.